Welcome back to Deep Dive Dialogues, the show where we make the impossible feel possible, one question at a time. I'm your host, Isabel, and today we are diving into something that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi novel, but it's actually happening in hospitals right now. JJ, I know you love a good origin story. So tell me, how do we go from a bunch of timestamps in a database to figuring out if a patient is having a disease episode?
Nah, that's a beautiful question, Isabel. You know, when I first started working with electronic health records, I realized something. We were drowning in data but starving for meaning. Think of it like this. Imagine you have 1,000 photographs of a birthday party but no album. Each photo is a timestamp, a diagnosis code, a drug administration. Alone, they're just moments, but when you apply logical rules, existence conditions, termination conditions, you start to see the story. A fever here, a prescription there. Suddenly, you can infer a high-level event like infection episode. It's like building a puzzle where the pieces are time-stamped and the picture is the patient's journey.
Do it, and that's where it gets really interesting and really tricky. Because Isabel, the moment you start inferring events from data, you introduce uncertainty. What if two events contradict each other? What if the data is incomplete? The paper we're discussing today tackles this head-on. They use constraints to flag incompatible combinations of events, like a patient can't be in remission and in active treatment at the same time. Then they propose a repair mechanism. A way to select the most consistent set of events. It's like having a referee for your logic.
Channel everyone, so we're not just detecting events. We're also cleaning up the mess when the data doesn't play nice. That sounds computationally intense. JJ, you mentioned polynomial time data complexity. What does that mean for a researcher who just wants to use this in a real clinic?
Great catch, Isabel, the full framework. If you try to reason about every possible combination of events, it's intractable. That's a fancy way of saying your computer would melt. But the authors identified restrictions, specific conditions where the reasoning becomes polynomial time, in plain English. If you structure your rules carefully, you can get answers fast enough for real-time clinical decision support. It's like designing a highway with just enough lanes. Not too many, not too few. So traffic never stops.
And they built a prototype using answer set programming, which is a logic-based paradigm perfect for this kind of problem. They tested it on a lung cancer use case, and the results aligned well with expert opinions. That's the gold standard. Not just a clever algorithm, but something that doctors actually agree with. It's rare to see that level of validation in AI research.
So let me get this straight. We take messy, time-stamped clinical data. We apply logical rules to infer high-level events like disease episodes. We use constraints to resolve conflicts. And we do it all in a way that's computationally feasible and clinically meaningful. And the framework is generic enough to use outside medicine. Honestly, that's the kind of bridge building I live for.
Exactly, Isabel. And that's the beauty of this approach. Whether you're tracking patient outcomes, monitoring industrial processes, or even analyzing social media trends, the same logic applies. Timestamps plus background knowledge plus constraints equals meaningful high-level events. It's a universal translator for data.
But let's not sugarcoat it. The real challenge is in the details, defining the right rules, getting the background knowledge right, and handling the inevitable edge cases. This paper gives us a solid foundation, but implementation is where the rubber meets the road. And that's where critical thinking, and a healthy dose of skepticism, comes in.
Well, I think we've given everyone a lot to think about. From timestamps to treatment plans, from logical rules to real-world validation. This episode was a masterclass in turning complexity into clarity. Thank you both for being here.
Nay, thank you, Isabel. Always a pleasure.
Do it, thanks for having me.
And thank you, channel everyone, for listening. Keep asking sharp questions, and we'll see you next time.